Hey everybody, what is going on? Serial Overdrive here, and today I'm playing Entropia Universe. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing another highly amped, hardcore Club FOMA mining run. The reason I like these so much is because it really does feel cool to go like so big and get so many skills. It's exciting, and you know, I'm guilty of liking that excitement. But like I've said before at least, I know the risks. There is a good chance that I'm going to walk away from this run with nothing, nada, zilch. Last run I did up here, literally like I filmed that run maybe like an hour ago, and I decided like let's jump in and try one more time. I lost 160 PEDs. So let's start from scratch and see what happens. This is a lower risk dome. We've got Snabble Snots, they're level 2, so this hopefully means it's a good place to mine. Let's go with that first drop and see how it goes. First drop, either it's going to be really lucky or it's, well, probably not. Yeah. All right, but let me make sure I'm amped up too. Yeah, we do have the amp on. It's a what is this? A 108, I believe. Yeah, level 8 finder amplifier. I'm using an F105 for those of you guys wondering. That's like a pretty good combo. I think it's sort of the bare minimum, the F105, what you'd want to go for FOMA. But yeah, just if you're interested in all that stuff, feel free to like hop onto one of my other videos where I talk about that. I'm not gonna keep going over the same thing, just video after video. So yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully we get something good, we get something cool to talk about. Otherwise, you know, it is what it is. It's gonna be interesting. I feel like FOMA is gonna be one of the next places to go as far as like deeds and selling to people, because it's really like it's a cool area to mine, but I've definitely seen like the sort of amount of people that like to come up here is lower, which usually means the owners are going to be looking to just sort of liquidate that thing, get their money out, and be done with it. And I think part of the reason too is because FOMA was always this place that miners would come and they'd get all this huge markup and they'd be able to come pretty close to break even, especially when you put an amplifier on, right? Like this amplifier cost, what is it, 168, or I think I paid 169 PEDs, 170. So I'm paying about a 4% markup on it, which like it used to be you'd come up here and just you could do really good because crafters were paying high value for the ores and end matter because they could eventually craft stuff like this guy down. Oh, there we go. What is that? 73 PEDs. All right, not huge. I was thinking it was bigger. And it's crude oil too. That's actually good because I can take that down with me. Anyways, the crafters used to come up here. Or sorry, the miners would come up here because they could get some really good loots, and then they could go ahead and use those loots to, they could sell them to crafters because crafting used to be really lucrative. Like this guy crafting those level 13 amplifiers, he might be able to put together a bunch of like ores and end matter that cost 120% markup total, and he could make a level 13 amplifier using sort of residue, get it up to the full TT value, and he'd be able to sell that and make a profit on it, even if he failed a few times. There's a lot of blueprints like that. If you've got the knowledge and know-how, if you've got the skills, if you run the numbers, you can make a good amount of money. And it used to be that was like way more possible back in the day. And because of that, a lot of people were like into crafting, so they'd pay a higher markup to get those skills initially. Only so many people would actually make it, so many people would actually do it. But the ones that would say it's worth it, and the people who didn't would eventually fall off just because they spent too much usually. But like that was sort of like the thing that was going, and that would keep a lot of the miners going, and that was what made Club Neverdie at the time, and now FOMA, such a valuable asset for someone to hold. People would come up here, they'd spend big, and you'd get a percentage of that global, right? Like the person who owns FOMA or owns this land area on FOMA, they're getting a nice chunk of that, right? Like they're getting, I don't know what it is. I don't know, like they get what, like 5%, something like that. Let's check. Here we go. They get 5.49% of that, right? Like that's huge. That's a huge amount of money that they're getting from that. Actually makes me think it's probably not worth it to be up here. But yeah, it's a huge amount of money that they're getting from that, right? So they're happy, like everybody's happy. When MineDark started introducing things like explosive residue and now the motherships, that really cut down the amount of ores and end matter that people needed to buy to start crafting. And because of that, a lot of the markup just disappeared off the market overnight. And I think that actually devalued FOMA a lot more than people are thinking. And I think the guys who actually own it are probably like, if they're looking to get out, if they're looking to sell, like it's a good time to do it because people are still coming up here, people are still liking it. But I think its heyday sort of died out. You've got to remember, Club Neverdie existed before planets and before a lot of other stuff. Like, this was the only place you could come that was off-world. It was a cool new place to explore. But now people are going to Arcadia. They're going to Arcadia Moon. They're going to Rocktropia. All sorts of places all over. Monria and just all over, right? So it doesn't have as much draw. It's a great place to come for someone like me who just wants to leave Calypso for a couple hours and then jump back in. But if I'm looking for somewhere to go, somewhere to like live, like a new place to exist, I'd probably pick Arcadia, honestly. Like, I'm not going to come up to Club Neverdie and just spend the next 2 months here. No, there's just not enough to see, not enough to do, not enough variation. I think Arcadia, Rocktropia, a lot of these planets do have that, though. And I'm sure, like, when the people bought FOMA, like, they knew what was up. Like, this isn't like, there's no guy who owns a land area who has invested a ton of money that's sitting here listening to these Serial Overdrive videos going, oh shit, they know what's up. That's why, like, it's all priced in. But yeah, like, if I was them, I'd be looking to split up the deeds and try and, like, diversify my income. And as someone who holds deeds, like, I'd love to own a piece of Club Neverdie or FOMA. Like, I'd gladly do that. It's not that I don't think it's a worthy investment. It's just, you don't want all your cash in one area, or at least that's how I feel about it. There's people who own land areas that feel completely different. They want to just put that active time in and really make it count, and that's respectable too. That's another way of doing business. Whew, we've got a bit to go here. I'm gonna have to heal up, I think. Actually, you know what? Screw this. Hold on, I've got to. We're going to heal up a little bit, and then I'm going to just get this guy to stop attacking me. It's not going to cost too much to kill this thing, so why not? Time's up challenge failed. Alright. I didn't know I was doing any challenges, but okay, I guess I failed it. So let's get back to this here. Yeah, you can see, like, this is the other nice thing about mining this dome. Even though I'm, like, unarmored and everything like that, when I do find something, if I'm attacked by a mob, it's easy enough for me to just turn around and shoot it. No big deal. Whereas, like, a lot of the time, like, if I'm mining that, like, one of the bigger domes with, like, level 23 or level 40 or 60 mobs, like, if it's a level 60 mob and it attacks me, I'm dead. Like, there's no way I can come back and, like, gun my way through. Like, that's just it. Like, it's over. I didn't get it. And then I've got to wait and, like, drag it away, and it's a whole hassle. Whereas here, something comes and attacks me, I just shoot it. It's no big deal. Of course, though, some people do, and I'm probably one of the people that almost believes this, think that the bigger the mob, the more likely you are to get good loot. The question is just whether there's overflow from, like, hunting loot into mining loot, how that works, whether all the mining loot is just on. So, like, there's a lot of different theories, right, as far as, like, loot pools and everything like that goes. But if the loot pools are for planets, if you go to a planet that doesn't have many people, you're just sort of recycling through your own loot almost, right? Like, if you're losing 5% on average, you're just going to see that. If it's a lot of people, if it's over a lot of people, there's more chance that there's going to be some big ATH that you could hit or something like that. It's, it all depends on how you view this. Mindark hasn't released any statistics. This isn't... for whatever reason, I'm not sure how this works, but I think in the U.S. for, like, slot machines and blackjack and all that, like, you've got to be able to know the odds, right? But for Entropia Universe, I don't believe they're required to release the odds, and I'm not sure this might be the way Swedish gambling laws work or something like that. But yeah, like, if they were required to release the odds, I'm sure it'd be interesting to see, because I'd be curious to know, like, if my odds are different on Club Neverdie versus on Calypso versus on Rocktropia. And I'm sure if I found that out, it would be, it might be a little bit of a disaster, right? Because if you're a planet owner and all of a sudden everybody knows that they're going to make 10% less on your planet, no one's going to go there. Unless it's like, 10% less, but the jackpots are 50% higher. That's sort of like the Club Neverdie thing, right? You're going to make less on average, but your jackpot is higher. Like, that's why people play the lotto instead of going to the table and playing blackjack, right? I spend, $10 on a lotto ticket. I could become the next, like, multi-millionaire. I spend $10 on blackjack, and, if you can become the next multi-millionaire over that, you're a god. Or you're counting cards. Actually, even if you're counting cards, that's an impossible thing to do, just because of the way things work statistically. All right, let's go ahead and refine this so I can actually run here. Actually, this might not even cut the weight enough because I have so much oil on me. Oh, no. All right, we're just barely good. If we hit another global, I'm gonna have to start complaining. Actually, I would not complain about that. I need another global. If I hit 2 globals like that, then we're at like break even. Just to give you guys an example, like, I hit that global and there's still a pretty good chance I'm going to lose money on this. Just not as much as the last run. The 160 PEDs lost that's off the table. It's not an option anymore. Serial overdrive is doing better than that. How much better? That still remains to be seen. All right. But you guys can see, like, there's a little bit more tension there. It's a little bit more, like, intense because I know, like, I'm going to get those, like, swirlies. I'm going to feel that global, but is it going to be big enough? I don't know. It's tough. You gotta. I don't know. It's a different intensity. Like, it's a different way of playing. This is something that I more want to, like, sit there and watch. Whereas if I'm hunting, like, punies, that's not something that I'm too, like, interested in, right? I can have, like, some movie, right, running in the background that I'm watching, and I'm just sitting there, like, clicking my button, like, click, click, click. But with this, no, I don't want to look away. I want to see what I'm getting. It's a little bit more addictive. Whoa! Look at that, folks. I think we're closing in on the profit zone here. 2 hits, 2 globals. I'd call that a pretty good run. I'd call that a pretty good run. There we go, right there. That's gonna be a lot of oil. It's a lot of oil. I really hope that the markup on this stuff is nice, because if it's not. What is the markup on this? Let's check. 104%. So we're just breaking even on that markup as far as, like, markup to amp markup. But that's okay. It's a lot of skills that you get too. Like, just from mining these bigger claims, you do get a lot more skills, and it's a lot faster because I just sit here and mine. A lot of miners actually have very good crafting skills, or not crafting. Is it crafting? Like, they get really good skills, like, closely related just because of that. So yeah, this is good to see. This is good to see, especially oil, because I can just start dumping that into. I can even do that now, can't I? Just to get rid of some of the weight. Let's extract the fuel in this thing. How much fuel do we have? I hope it didn't combine. I didn't have much. All right. If I had any fuel, it wasn't much. It's not going to affect really the. So we're extracted, no fuel. So I probably had like 50 PECs of fuel or something like that. Let's go ahead and refuel this thing so I don't have to sit around with all this weight. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That's actually a great way to cut down on how much your avatar's carrying. Just dump that all into your various vehicles, especially with crude oil. And then once we get there, once we go to add up that total, I can just dump it all out and see where we're at. The other thing, too, is that's one of those things that if you have your vehicle filled up, they can't loot it. So if you're worried about space pirates or anything like that, oil is one of the easiest ones to transport. That's probably why the markup's going to stay low almost universally, no matter what planet you go to. Because everybody knows that. Like, whether you own a mothership or a, I don't know, whatever you own, right? Like, whichever vehicle you're transporting in, you can just dump that into the fuel tank and you're good to go. So, no one worries about the pirates taking their oil. But yeah, I've heard some crazy stories about some of these pirates being able to loot huge amounts of money. Like, literally, there are people that lose hundreds and hundreds of dollars, USD, not even PED, because they went into lootable PvP with so many resources. I mean, I get the draw, but I think that's one of the things that really does hold the economy and Entropia universe back. The fact that you've got this space thing that's lootable, like, I get the draw. I mean, I get why it's cool, right? It's one of those things like a lot of people like, but I think the fact that lootable lootable PvP, I think the fact that it exists and it's space really hurts these planets' growth potential. Like if I was looking at buying a planet, or if I was looking at buying a space station, it's hard because a lot of players don't want to come there and they don't want to set up shop there because they're worried, like, hey, how do I get these resources out of here? Like I go to Monria and if I hit a huge global of something with 200% markup, let's say, what do I do? Like their auction house isn't big enough to hold it. There's not enough people there that would be buying it that I can actually sell it on there. I've got to take it back to Calypso or Arcadia. Those are like the two bigger ones, and even then, like if you take everything back to Calypso, you'll probably be able to sell it a little bit easier. So I've got to take it all back there, and now the problem is, how do I transport it without dying? If I'm transporting it just piece by piece, it's going to take me forever, right? And there's still a chance that I'll die. It's just if I get killed, I lose more, or I lose less. If I transport it all at once, I can get it all there in one go, but I could lose a huge amount of money. So like, what do? Like, how do you get it there? Like, how do you take that, like, take a little bit of markup? You can use a mothership, but again, there's still that chance that you could die. And one thing I'm actually interested in is if you can shoot people on a mothership, right? Like, if I'm on a mothership standing there and we're going through space, can I shoot the character next to me and get their loot? I'm just very curious to know how that would work. If anybody's tried it, let me know. I'm very curious. And if you're a mothership pilot and you hate me because I just asked that question and ruined a big secret, sorry. I don't want to make the game worse, but yeah, I think the fact that there's that whole like PvP, lootable PvP, you can lose all this stuff, really hurt a lot of these planets that are smaller. But it also is a very good insurance policy if your planet's bigger, because people are less likely to leave. Calypso has profited because of it. Arcadia probably profited. Rocktropia had a really good start. They were one of the first planets to launch. A lot of people loved it, but somehow that just sort of fell to the wayside. I'm not sure what really went on there, and there's still a good community there. Like, it's still definitely a place that you could call home. It's just not as popular as Arcadia. And honestly, I've seen a lot more people going between planets now, so it's getting better. And I think that's why, like, Mindark recently made something where they're making lootable PvP in space smaller. I think that's one of the reasons they did that. And it would be interesting if they could sort of implement some sort of like police force in space, some sort of like protected area that it takes a little bit more for players to like break into, and, you know, do it more like real life, right? Like, I mean, that's how it works in real life, right? Like if I decide to go outside right now and take out my neighbor's car and steal whatever they've got in it, like that's something I could do, but there are consequences for that. It'd be good to see like Entropia Universe have a little bit more on like the consequences side. Like if you're out there in space PvPing, maybe you get put on a watch list and now any space station is going to shoot you down, right? Maybe you can't use storage all of a sudden. Like any loot you've got in space, it's there, it's on you. Anything you loot in PvP, like that loot's on you for good. Like you can't drop that off in storage. You've either got to auction it, you got to get rid of it somehow, or make it so an auction house won't take that loot. Like make it sort of like blacklisted, right? Make it like there's like a black market you've got to go to. You've got to do player-to-player trades. Like just sort of change it up a little bit. Maybe make like space routes where they're patrolled by like spaceships or something. And I don't know, like make it like make some sort of like difference to the experience, right? Make like a space route, right, where people put in PEDs and the space route's patrolled by ships, and it's a lot harder for people to get in, and they can just go behind a patrol ship. I don't know, something like that, right? Like it would be cool to see, I think. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to have to refine this. A lot of people are probably thinking like the refiner costs are going to count. It doesn't count. I'm not counting the refiner cost towards markup. We got 71 PEDs of oil now, a little bit less, but about the same. So this is still just for those of you guys keeping track. Right now I'm in the profit, but there's still a potential that I could lose here. Got 2 globals, and there's still a chance that I'm going to lose money. A third global is what I need. Crazy. I know it's crazy. Like there's some people watching this that are like, 2 globals and you're still losing money? What are you doing? That's just how it works. But yeah, and if any of you like Entropia, like if any of these guys watching are developers, feel free to steal my ideas. Just build a statue to me in the middle of Twin Peaks, please. That's the cost of my... No, it'd be very cool if you guys could do that, but yeah, feel free to steal the ideas, because I'd love to see space changed for the better. And I really think that's one of the like it's a very cool aspect of Entropia. I really do like it, but I think it's one of the things that needs to be improved and sort of worked out a little bit more so that planets aren't just dead, right? Because a lot of planets now, they're just dead on arrival and players don't bother to go there, and there's so much content out there for people to actually use and like to keep the game from getting stale, and just so many people refuse to go there because they know the risks, they know the rewards, they know what happens if they get a reward, and it's so hard to just, yeah, I think people know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'd love to see that fixed. Whether or not it's going to be fixed, like, I don't know. I've been suggesting this stuff for a while now, so like these aren't new ideas that I'm coming up with right now. Some of them are, but some of them I've said before, and some of you guys are probably screaming right now for me to just stop repeating myself. But yeah, that's the one thing. Like, I see so much potential for Entropia because you've got so many cool things. It's got a lot of the stuff that like games like Star Citizen promise. Entropia actually has it. Like Star Citizen's like, you're gonna get a living, breathing planet and blah blah blah. It's like, well, Entropia does have that actually. Like, it does have a living, breathing planet. Like, it's crazy what they've done. It's crazy how long this game's been around and how much it's managed to stand the test of time. Like, this game's one of those games that's probably not going anywhere, but it would be cool to see some improvements, because they could even go like more with like the Robin Hood model, right? If the game gets big enough, if it gets popular enough, they don't even need to take money for repairs or take money from loot pools or anything like that. They just take all the money that's deposited, they put it into an interest-bearing account, and they're doing good. I'm sure that's part of what they're doing. Like, the money that I've got in Entropia Universe, it's just sitting on my account, right? So MindArc, they know that, hey, they can dump that money into the bank account, and it's going to make some interest. You put that into bonds, especially because it takes 6 months to pay out. Like, you can get a 6-month bond. Oh! Look at that, folks. There we go. We are in the profit zone. 3 globals. And we've got it. Oh, we've got it. Damn, this is a good dome. I can't say, man, I'm glad this happened. I'm in. All right, let's drop some more oil in. That hover pod is loaded with oil right now, and we're getting some lists too. Like, this is good. Oops, let's drop that. That's good. 3 globals in a row. Every claim I found has been a global in this dome, folks. That's good. That is good. Biodome 5. For those of you guys wondering, for those of you guys complaining that nobody gives you tips, I've got your back. I'm giving you tips. I'm giving away the domes. And all you guys complaining that I give away too many things, you can keep complaining. But yeah, don't think you guys can come here and replicate what I'm getting. I've gotten lucky here. List and oil actually aren't 2 things that you should be going after because the markup on them is lower. So just when you do that, like averaging out the profits and everything like that, it doesn't exactly work. The other thing you've got to remember too is I'm releasing this video probably a month after I hit these, so there's a good chance that this has already been changed up. There's a good chance it hasn't, so like, you know, if you're a miner, it might be worth checking out. But yeah, you guys saw the last video too where I just got nothing for 160 PEDs worth. Overall, my time on FOMA is definitely probably going to still be in the negative. But I've gotten some nice skills. I think, I hit 60,000 skills. That is, it's a big one for me. It means I'm all, actually it doesn't mean much. It's going to be huge. I'm going to be happy when I hit 100,000. I think that's like going to be a big goal for me. If I can get that like 6-digit number there. I'm never going to get 7 digits unless I can bribe MindArc, but they don't take bribes. To the best of my knowledge, they don't take bribes. But yeah, this is good. Let's see what the, so look at that. The mining tax is 5.49%, which means whoever owns this dome just made a good bit of money off of me, right? Like, they made what? Wow, not a good. I say good bit of money. They probably made something like 5, maybe 10 PEDs. But that's not too bad, right? From one player. It would be interesting to see the numbers and see what FOMA overall is bringing in, because I'm curious whether like FOMA's I know, like, for Neverdie, the guy who originally bought FOMA or Club Neverdie, it's been a great investment. I'm just curious how it's been for whoever bought it afterwards. I'm trying to think who it was. I want to say it was Buzz Lightyear, but I don't think that was him. It's been, like, I come in and out of Entropia news, and sometimes, like, things sell, and I don't know who they sell to. And obviously, like, a lot of these trades could have just been done sort of under the table. Like, they don't make it public how much things were bought or sold for. These aren't public companies. They don't have to make it public. It does become public when MindArc makes a news flash about it, but I think people have to agree to that. I'm not sure. Like, if I wanted to buy Club Neverdie, right? Like, if I'm going to put in $1 million, I probably would contact MindArc, and I'm sure they'd give me a discount so I don't have to pay that deposit fee. But I'm not sure how that works. Like, I don't know if there's got to be a limit, right? There's got to be some amount that, like, if you're going to put that in, you've got to contact the people who own the game. But I don't know what that amount is. It's sort of curious question. Probably maybe $10,000, because that's the point where, like, the U.S. needs to know about it. But is it considered a bank account, right? Like, is this? It doesn't give you interest, right? Like, is this considered a bank account? What are deeds considered even, right? Like, is that a tradable good? Is that, like, something I shouldn't be buying if I'm a U.S. citizen and worth under $1 million and not an accredited investor? I don't know. And then there's always a question of, like, what country's rules apply. It gets complicated. I'm sure MindArc has some lawyers that are watching their backs. Hopefully they have some lawyers that are watching their backs. How are we doing with this, man? This has been a longer run than I thought it would be, just because we're hitting these, like, high sort of number globals, right? We're not just hitting big, like, PED values. We're hitting high item numbers, so it's taking me a lot longer to mine, right? Like, if I hit Dura or whatever it's called, let's say it's like 1 PED a stone, I'd be able to pull that up in no time at all. When you're hitting list and oil, that can take a while, because you're getting like 50, 60 stones at a time, and it's just taking forever to pull them up. And I don't think that actually means that you're getting more skills. Before, skills were actually displayed, like, by the system. So it used to be you wouldn't see. You just say you've gained engineering skills. You wouldn't see you've gained 0.2914 experience in blah, blah, blah. You just see you got engineering. People never knew. People are always like, all right, so if I get list, that means I'm getting more skills for pulling it out. And I don't think that's the case, actually, unfortunately. Because that used to be one of the things that would always be discussed. Everybody was always talking about it, like, hey, if I get list, does that mean I'm getting more skills? Like, is this actually a really good thing? Should I be happy about this? And, everybody goes back and forth. We're just like, no, you're not getting more skills. And some people are like, yeah, of course you're getting more skills. You're pulling more stuff up. And now Entropia made it very clear, just because they display the skills right there, which is, it's very nice of them to do that. The more you can see, the more you know about how the game's run, I think the better it is. And I don't think it's really hurting their bottom line. I think a lot of players just appreciate being able to see the numbers and know what's going on. How are we doing here? I'm getting, like, tired of talking. My voice is like, ugh. It's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. I think we're about done with this run too, to be honest. Let's see. Where are we at here? How much more do we have left to go? Ooh, we still got 48 PEDs on this finder. Folks, could I get another global? Have I found the hottest area on Club Neverdie? I don't know. I really don't know. Let's equip this. Let's drop this in. All right, let's keep going. I'm gonna drop right away too, because I'm feeling it here. 74 PEDs of lists. We've gotten 370 PED globals. Like, those aren't even the cheap globals. Those aren't even, like, the globals that you're like, well, it counts, but just barely. These are, like, solid hits right here. I'm so happy about that. Also, at this time, since I'm running out of stuff to say, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And I hate how people do that in videos. Like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I do know how YouTube works, dude. I do know. I try not to do that, although I always do remind people to subscribe, just because that's actually, to me, sometimes that, like, reminds me. I'm like, oh yeah, I did enjoy that video. I probably should. So I do remind people that, but the notification bell, like, I don't know. I don't even know if that thing works, to be honest. Let me know. Those of you guys that hit the notification bell on my channel, do you get notified of videos? Is it even possible? My finder's getting close to disrepair, by the way. I just saw that message flash there. The other thing I always wonder too is it even like, can you get notified anytime I do an Entropia universe video versus a Rust video? Because that would be something that actually could be very useful. For those of you guys who don't know, I put everything into playlists. So like Entropia universe is in a playlist, Rust is in a playlist, and I try and do that just so it's easier for people to sort through and find the videos they like. But I'm not sure if there's any way to actually put like a notification bell or subscribe to a playlist. It'd be cool to do. I'd probably lose subscribers because people just subscribe to the Entropia playlist, but I don't know, it would be cool, I think. Alright. Running out of resources, running out of probes and amp here. Let's see if we can get that 4th global. I'm staying in this dome because it's hot, right? Like, there's no reason to leave this dome. I'd be crazy to go anywhere else. Like, this is it. I think this is actually it. Like, isn't it? Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the last drop here. Let's do it. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get that all-time high. Or Hoff, or global, or hit. I'd be happy with the hit. Alright, no. So we're out of probes there. That's it. We're done. Let's let this thing attack me here. See if he can. We'll let him attack, and I'm also going to hit T because these guys don't do much damage, honestly. Like they're a little bit on the weaker side. He got a little annoyed that I said that. That's why he's attacking me, and that's why he hit me so hard there. But it's probably going to be easier for me to teleport back. Also, let's dump this out here. So let's see where we're at. We've got, what do we have? 145 PEDs of oil and another 74 PEDs of list. That's a pretty good number. That's a pretty big number, I'd say. We're going to be looking at the 200s. Again, what we spent was roughly about like 200 PEDs. We spent about 170 on that amp and another 30, I believe, in probes. Yeah, about 30 in probes. Actually, exactly 30 in probes, and then there's a little bit of that money from the Snabble Snot that I killed. Let's see, does the loot that I got from him make up for it? That's another question. 11 PECs worth. Ooh, it doesn't. So this Snabble Snot cost me money. Anyways, let's check it out. 200 PEDs spent. Let's say that's the number we're going with. What do we have in returns? 145 and 219. So there we go, folks. We lost on that earlier run that I had, that video that I probably put out like a couple days or a week ago, but we made a little bit back here. We made 19 PEDs and we got some pretty decent skills. So overall, I'd say that was a good run. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace.